Hello and thank you for watching. I'm Jennifer Bowman with Olympia Piano. I'd like to present to you a 6-part warm-up in the key of E minor. This is appropriate for intermediate level piano students, and it's designed after the MTNA music literacy program. So it's kind of a combination of technique and music theory. So if you're in the United States, you can use this to prepare for your exams. If you are not in the United States, you can use this as a general warm-up as well as a way to get familiar with chords and scales in the key of E minor. We're going to get started with the E minor scale. We're going to play it 3 different ways, but I want to mention that we're going to go over 2 different E minor scales. So this video is going to be just a tiny bit longer than the corresponding major video. So when we're talking about E minor, what I want you to know is E minor is the relative minor of G major. So when we are playing a G major scale, these are the notes of the G major scale. We're going to use these same exact keys, but we're going to march down from tonic of G, 3 half steps, and we're going to play the same keys, but just from E to E instead. And that's how you get your relative minor. All right, so let's go over the scales first. Way number 1 is right hand alone. Fingering is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I call that standard fingering. Here we go. Thumb under. Back down. Cross with 3. Same thing with the left hand. Cross over once you get to the thumb with finger 3. Under. Now, when we put our hands together, I tell my students something is always going on around 3. So that means one hand is going under or the other might be going over. Here we go. Right hand under, left hand over, back down, left hand under, right hand over, So now we're going to do what's called the E harmonic minor scale. We're going to do the same thing, right, left together. So what happens is sometimes composers use this other version of the minor scale to create major harmonies for the 5 chord. So the scale has to be altered to create that major 5 chord. And so what we're going to do is we're going to raise the 7th note of the scale from D to D sharp. So it leaves a kind of a large gap at the top of the scale. And then the scale has 2 black keys instead of 1. All right, so the right hand is going to go first, under, big stretch between 3 and 4, back down, stretch, cross with 3, left hand, cross with 3, and then stretch right away, 2 keys in between there. Stretch, thumb under, hands together, right hand under, left hand over, stretch, back down, left hand under, right hand over, Part 2 of the warm-up is exploring the primary chords. The primary chords are the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord of the key. And for this exercise, we are going to use that harmonic minor that we just used. So the notes of the harmonic minor scale. And when we are in a scale, there's all sorts of harmonies created in that scale by using those notes. And we can find those harmonies by just marching up the scale using the scale notes. So our 1 chord is a minor chord, 2, half happens to be diminished, 3, augmented if you're using the harmonic minor scale, 4, minor, A minor, and then we're going to use the harmonic minor for a 5 chord. So our primary chords, right hand, E minor, 1, A minor, 4, and then next door, 5. Left hand, going to feel a little bit different. Same notes though. E minor, A minor, next door to B major. Let's do that together. 1, 4, 5. And I just want to give you a little music theory thing here. When these chords are notated, they're notated with Roman numerals. You're going to have a lowercase numeral when it is minor. So 1 will be a lowercase I, 4 will be lowercase IV, and then 5 will be uppercase V for 5. All right, part 3 of the warm-up is inversions. If you've done the C and G videos, this is going to feel very similar because it's all white keys. We're just starting on E instead. So an inversion is simply taking the notes of the chord and putting them in a different order. And some of the chords are going to feel more stretched out, and some of the chords are going to have a different fingering. So those are the 2 things I'd like you to pay attention to. So we're going to start with what's called root position. This is what I was just showing in the primary chords, just creating the chord. Root position is 1, 3, 5 for the right hand. Now we're going to take this E and put it on top. So I'm going to put 1 here. I'm going to put 2 here, and then here's the E. See how that one's a little more spread out? I don't have a finger right here. That's called first inversion. Now we're going to do that same thing. Put the G on the top, put 1 here, put 3 here, and then 5 for the G. 1, 3, 5, second inversion. And then we're back to root. Root. Stretch out, that B goes on the bottom. Now the G is going to go on the bottom, finger 2 in the middle, and then we're back to root. Let's do that same thing with the left hand. 5, 3, 1. E's going to come on the top. We're going to still have 5, 3, 1 for first inversion. Now G's going to come on the top. That's our 5, 2, 1 for the left hand. And then root. Back down. Second inversion gets finger 2 for left hand. First inversion gets finger 3. Root. So when we do this hands together, I'd like you to really pay attention to which finger has the finger 2, because other than that, it's all 5, 3, 1. So root position, 5, 3, 1 for everybody. Then when we move up, right hand has the 2 for first inversion. Second inversion, left hand has finger 2. Root. Coming back down, left hand has the 2. Second inversion, first inversion, 2 for right hand, root. Part 4 of the warm-up, what we're going to do is play a chord progression. These are ways that we put chords together, and we're learning some of the most common ones in these videos. This is a 1, 4, 1, 5, 1 chord progression, and all we're doing is we're taking those primary chords and we're going to put them kind of close together so we're not jumping all over the place. What I'd like you to notice, between the 1 chord and the 4 chord, do you notice that they both have an E? We're going to use the inversion of that 4 chord that has the E on the bottom. So if our 4 chord is A minor, not a E on the bottom, not E on the bottom. Ooh, second inversion. So when we move up from our root position 1 chord, we're going to take fingers 3 and 5, we're going to move them up in the scale, using the scale notes, to our 4 chord, second inversion 4 chord. Then back to the 1 chord. Now here we have 1, 5, 7, 1. If you watched the videos for level 3, you will know what this is, but if you did not, here's a quick little explanation. So our 5 chord is a B chord, and often in music, we add an extra note to this chord, creating what's called a 5/7 chord. You know how we added in thirds? We're going to just add another third on the top using the notes of the scale. So we're going to add an A to it. And in fact, for this chord progression, we're not going to use all 4 notes. We're going to leave out the 5th. So we're just going to have B, D sharp, and A. So you might recall that the shared note between the 1 chord and the 5 chord, or the 5/7 chord, is that B. So we're going to look for the inversion of this that has the B on the top. So let's try right here. I'm going to put a thumb here, put that, and it's that inversion. So when we move from the 1 chord, the thumb's going to go down. We're going to play finger 4 instead, and back to 1. So here we go. 1, up to 4, 1, 3, 5, back down to 1, 1, 3, 5. Now, different fingering for this one. Thumb scoots down a half step. Left hand, same notes. It's going to just feel a little bit different. So 1, moving up to 4. Thumb's going to move up. 2's going to play instead of 3. Then thumb's going to move back down. 1, 3, 5. 5, 7. 5 is going to move down a half step. We're going to play 2 instead of 3. Back to 1. Hands together. Here we go. Up, 2, 4. Back, 2, 1. Scoot the bottom note. Switch fingers at the top. Part 5 of the warm-up is a one-handed arpeggio, and arpeggio is, instead of playing the notes like this together, we're going to play them one at a time. The only difference for this exercise is we're going to add another E or tonic note at the top. So it's going to be a little stretched out. Right hand's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1. Notice how I'm moving my hand a little bit, pivoting on 2 and 3. Left hand, same notes, except use finger 4 instead. Now, when we do it hands together, you're going to have different fingers playing. So we have 4 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 5, 2 and 3, 4 and 2, 5 and 1. Part 6 of the warm-up, we are going to create intervals from the bottom of the scale using the scale notes. I'm going to do it 2 ways because we're going to do both natural minor and harmonic minor. So natural minor, we have 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Harmonic minor, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Notice that big gap at the top. Left hand, natural. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Harmonic, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Now hands together, natural. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Same thing. Harmonic. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. And that is it. You have completed your intermediate level warm-up in the key of E minor. We did both natural and harmonic. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your support of my channel. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed, shared, donated. I appreciate your support in so many ways. So those of you who are familiar with my channel know that I love to know where you're from. So please leave that for me in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching.